Hello, Reagan here. All right, so it's time. I'm going to take this Game Boy Color apart and put it back together. This is not the original video of me doing this, by the way. I made that short, and I have I had the video, had the video ready to go. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I did. It was a separate file, completely separate of everything that I had to do with the short, because the short was me copying the file over to my files off of my camera, and I don't know. The file disappeared. I can't find it. If I can find it, I'll find it. But whatever. Anyway, who knows? So I just like, you know what? I didn't really clean it that well the last time, and I finally got the battery cover today because I had to order one. So yeah, whatever. Do it again. Why not? So the screwdriver kit that I'm using for this, my cat is talking to a fly in the window. Anyway, the screwdriver kit that I bought for this, I didn't buy it for this, that I have that I'm using for this, that's more like it, is the iFixit screwdriver kit. They have a few different ones, different sizes or whatever. You can get this whole big like layout kit that's got all kinds of fancy accoutrement, or you can get this basic one that's just got, well, it's not real basic, but it's like the middle of the road one that's got a lot of options for different proprietary screw tips, which is amazing. The outside case parts take like a Phillips head is like 4, right? It's a little cross whatever. This one is like 3 instead. So it's like almost like a little Y shape, like 3 point or 3. I don't know what you call those things, but it's a triple-sided screwdriver. And that comes in most of the iFixit cases. There's 6 screws for the outside. And then once you get those off, there's this metal plate that holds, that goes in the back that the game like slides up against when it goes in and out to plug it in. And then, yeah, like I said, I took this apart and I cleaned it. And then when I took it apart again, I was like, wow, I really didn't get that very clean. I don't have my usual stuff because I'm in the middle of moving. So usually I have like, I don't know, basics, like some Q-tips and stuff. I'm working with like paper towels, and I had these Curad alcohol pads in my first aid kit, and then a spray bottle of alcohol that I keep with like my cleaning supplies and stuff, and that I use for when I'm cleaning up like eBay stuff. I don't usually have to take apart, disassemble, and deep clean things that I'm selling on eBay, because that feels like it wouldn't be really worth it unless it was something really expensive or fancy. So I don't have like detailing stuff like, I would need to clean this properly. And I should have just took the back and went and stuck it in the sink, but I didn't want to lose the actual Nintendo sticker on the back of it. I did take the barcode that's on there off, just because it was like yellow and gross, and I don't know, I didn't like it, so I took it off. But yeah, so like I said, the screws inside are all Phillips. There's 2 different sizes of Phillips. There's a smaller and larger size. And I ended up using 2 different heads to take them out, but I used the same one to put them back in. I used the larger one to put them back in. It was no problem. But it's probably a good idea to use the smaller heads or use the appropriate size Phillips head for the different screws for the internal screws. So it's work. There's 2 little pieces, one on each side of this ribbon cable here that lock it into place. You just lift those up. They just slide up. They click open, and that is to remove the ribbon cable for the screen. So there's 3 screws that hold this main board in place. And once again, like I said, these are Phillips. These are the smaller Phillips. But overall, it's pretty basic. Yeah, see here I go getting the smaller or different size Phillips. Yeah, smaller Phillips, so that because I don't want to risk stripping the screws out. But the one that I put on, I ended up using for everything else. I could have used it for the other screws as well. I did not take the screen off of this one because I didn't really have any reason to. I probably could have pulled it off and cleaned around it because there's a little bit of like muck that's worked its way around the screen over the years, but it's not that deep. It's for my personal use, and the front of it's really super scratched. So I was like, whatever. If I get around to buying a replacement piece, maybe at some point I will. Um, but for now, it's good. It's fine. It works great. And no complaints. I don't even care if it's scratched either because, whatever. Anyway, but there's the main board and there's the speaker. The speaker is kind of floating here. So be careful. Don't jolt that around too much because you'll break those wires and you won't have a speaker. And the headphone jack on this one is a little wonky. I looked at it and it looks like there's a little bit of erosion going on. There's some kind of buildup on the headphone jack, like we're sweating time. So, oh, and do as I say, not as I do. Don't play with the membrane on the speaker like that. It's really a bad idea. I'm really guilty of. I mean, I did it all through the 80s and 90s. I used to always like take my headphones apart and stuff and clean those. As they get gross. I don't know. I've always been really lucky, but you're not supposed to do that kind of stuff to those. So don't consider this an actual like one-to-one tutorial. So I tried to like see if any of that would move with any rubbing alcohol because you can see um, the buildup where it's just like tarnished the metal. But I didn't have any luck, and I did try to like clean it out some. As of making this video, I haven't properly tested that, but I will give an update and let you know how that sounds and if getting at it with a brush helped any. I also kind of use like the metal portion of the brush. I kind of like scratch a little bit there to see if I could get some of the metal more exposed so that it makes a better contact with the headphone jack. It just sounds a little crunchy. I don't know how to describe it any better than that. If you don't move it, it's fine, but it does have like a little bit of feedback to it. I don't know. Kind of sucked. But I also tried it with some really cheap old headphones I had, so I'll try something a little better next time. Yeah, all these ports are gross. Just lots of years of sweaty hands holding it, playing games. So the board's in really good shape, though, for the most part. Like I said, it is a little aged and is a little sun colored. You can see where the buttons go, and the rest of it's like that more yellowed color. Normally, it would all be the brighter color and not have that oxidation on there. But yeah, so don't do this. This is a bad idea. I mean, if you're really gentle with it, it's probably okay, but it's probably not a good idea and a really easy way to trash the speakers on this thing. But I'm unhinged, so I just want to throw that disclaimer in there that unless you're willing to sacrifice the speaker on your Game Boy Color, this is probably not a good idea. It doesn't feel like a good idea. I didn't feel like I was doing something I should be doing when I did this. I was also on a phone call and talking to my daughter and just distracted, but not in a bad way. So, and like I said, whatever. I usually don't listen to. I'm a weird person. I'll listen to music while I'm playing a game. I won't listen to the game while I'm playing a game, depending on what game it is. But like for something like this, like no, just kind of like this was dusty inside. That's where the game cartridge connects. So I just kind of giving that a little wipe down, and then I do end up going and grabbing my can of air and giving it a spray out to give that a little bit more of a cleaning. Yep, see, I wandered off. There I am. There it is. Electronic accessories. Blast the crap out of it. I have a little like vacuum cleaner too that has the reverse, so you can use it for blowout for air. But I have cans of air floating around, so I just use them up, when I can. Since I don't have a PC right now, I'm just running off of a MacBook. I don't really have as much use for canned air as I used to in the past. I'm sure that'll change eventually once I get moved. But until then, this is in my arsenal of cleaning supplies, and it does a nice little job of cleaning stuff up. I was just like looking at the board and making sure that things look pretty good and all the solders look good and stuff. And I didn't see any sign other than what's going on with the headphone jack. I try to make sure that the motherboard looked pretty good. And doesn't look so bad. It looks better than I thought it would for being as old as it is. Here comes the big guns. The alcohol wipes and just went over things best I could because this too had a little bit of buildup on it. Didn't do much to clean it, but I still went over it best I could. All the things. Clean all the things. The volume control. Later on when I turned on, I'm like, whoa, there's no sound. It was because I was messing with the volume control. I had it turned all the way down when I was cleaning the button. Now I realize that. At the time, of course, I was like freaking out. Oh no, did I break it? Did my bad choice of way to clean the speaker finally fail me? But yeah, I'm pretty clean. I did notice there was a couple of spots on the board that had some muck. I'm really tempted to find another headphone jack and solder it on there. It's not that hard to like desolder and solder on there. If you just have the most basic like soldering skills, replacing those is really easy. But for right now, I'll pass on that and just keep playing it like it is. Oh, and the battery connectors. That spring, I still need to reshape it a little bit. It's a little bit wonky, a little bent. See, there it is. But I'll get to it eventually. Yeah, for the most part, this all looked pretty good, pretty clean. There's a little bit of buildup down on the bottom there for the select and start buttons. So I did go and give that a pretty good little scrubbing and got all that off. It came off pretty nice. But there it is. And there I go with that speaker again. I make myself cringe with that. Like nervous, like I'm gonna mess it up. I don't. It works fine when I'm done, I promise. Yeah. Part of me was wanting to get out my polishing. I was talking on the phone with my daughter, like I said, while I was doing this. I told her, I was like, yeah, I almost want to get out the polishing wheel and polish up some of those parts. There's no real reason to do all that, but it felt like something I wanted to do. And wipe all this stuff down. I cleaned this, like I said before, and it was gross, but it was still gross. And I haven't used this since I cleaned it. I didn't get it as clean as I thought I had because, no real excuse. Yeah. Buttons, buttons, buttons. Yeah, these were in pretty good shape. I've had like controllers and stuff that I have just totally shredded those little rubber pieces that go underneath that actually push the buttons, and more than once. But these were all in pretty good shape. The buttons themselves are pretty scratched up, just like the rest of the unit, but it was okay. Yeah, for some reason I thought for sure I got it cleaner than I did. You'll see in a minute. Like I start going along the little edge of the case, and it's like gross. I was checking the foam. Foam's not really dry rotted. Strangely enough, I thought it would be. And the ribbon cable's pretty solid. It seems to be pretty good. It's getting all the grossness out of here. I found a little like weevil or something in here too, and I was like, oh, gross. It was out in my storage shed, and this thing has been stored all kinds of crazy places over the years. So I'm like shocked or surprised, but at the same time, I was like, ew. Ugh. So here it comes. There he is. I'm gonna show him. I'm warning you now. There he is. Pick him up with a brush and put him right up by the camera. You probably won't be able to see him. Ew, ew, ew. Ew, ew. Yeah, I put him in the trash. He was dead. He'd been dead for a long time. It was just like, that's not the point. It was still really gross. And I was freaked out by it. Yeah, see, like this. I thought I got that really clean, the Nintendo in the front, because it's like cut out, and so it's recessed and dirt settles down into it. And then I start rubbing, and just like, look at how dirty the wipe is getting. It's so gross. By the time I got done, there's like this filthy wipe in my hand. Yeah, oh, it was so gross. I got it nice and clean now, though. But at the time, it was not so much. It was pretty gross. Trying to get in there. Like I said, I don't even have like an old toothbrush right now. Having everything in storage is driving me up the wall. I cannot wait. You have no idea. Looking for a place is impossible too. We have to like call around and looked around and harassed and harangued. Hi. And I don't know. Just finding a place is so hard, especially like here, but not just here. Everywhere I've looked, even looking to like just move out of town or something, it's just like no, that's not going to do it either. Yeah, so just wild. The thought, of course, is like, oh, maybe we can like buy a place, but I'm not having any luck there either. And there's all kinds of other issues with buying a place too. It's not just it's everything. It's all the things. Everything's a nightmare. But I'm not gonna give up. I'm just gonna get real frustrated and complain, and then everything will just fall in place like it usually does, and then I'll just be like, why did I get so angry in the first place? Just wild. I don't even know how to begin to like work my way through this. Yeah, see how scratched that is. It has some pretty nasty scratches on it, and they're really in there. I would like to get a replacement piece for that at some point. I rubbed my dirty fingerprints all over it, just to kind of get an idea of how scratches. I was talking to my daughter. I'm like, I wonder if I could like kind of polish some of those out a little bit. Who knows? Maybe. And then down here, there was like just some of that muck that just wasn't quite coming out. So I sprayed some rubbing alcohol and went at it with a brush really good. And that seemed to do the trick and get it fairly clean. I mean, it's not going to be perfect. It's an old piece of tech and it's been used a lot. And, I said without taking the screen off and submerging it, the piece is still going to be kind of muck tip. So it's fine. I did finally get all those little holes where the speaker cover goes cleared out, though. You could barely hear it before because all the little holes were filled with gross. So now that those are open and not filled up with who knows what, hand sweat and gross. Yeah. Did you see that? You might have missed that. I didn't miss that. I put the thing up against, I ran my fingernail along just that one side there and got just muck. Look at that. Oh, those are eyebrows. But yeah, just so dirty. Gross, gross, gross. Just insane. We get it. We get it cleaned up pretty good. All the scrubbins. It's just amazing how deep all the grime and stuff can make its way into to things like that. It's so gross. I used to like do a lot of IT work and clean a lot of keyboards. Oh, I went through some keyboards and laptops that would just wow. Stuff just gets dirty, it gets touched, it gets dirty. That's just how it works, unfortunately. And sometimes even the people that are like I've had stuff come in that was like spotless on the outside, like they kept it really clean and whatever. And then I open it up and it's like full of like dog hair and like skin flakes and stuff. It's really gross. It's gross. That is it's a great job if you like to clean things. Um, to like refurbish and repair stuff, especially hardware stuff, but not for the faint of heart. I come across all kinds of crazy things down in keyboards and laptops. It's insane. But I love to take things apart, so it's not so bad. I started to dig this off with my fingernail, and I'm like, okay, this is not going to work too well. And then I think I kind of like the other side, there was a little bit of a crack to it already, but you couldn't see it because of this. You can kind of see it here, but not really. The very, very end of the end that I'm not digging on, there's a little bit of like starring in the plastic. It's a like micro cracks, like it's getting ready to break, but it hasn't broke yet. And I didn't see it. I didn't really notice it much. I had noticed a little bit of it, but I think I made it worse when I was trying to get this off because I was a little overzealous. I started peeling it with my fingernail, which don't do that. My poor fingernails have been through it. I will tell you that much. That's for sure. But I did peel the top piece. Once I got the top piece of plastic off, it started to come off easier, and then I should get these big chunks off. Yeah, see, you can kind of see it there. But it was there before I started this nightmare endeavor. And I just got like the majority of it off the wrong way. I should have used something to scrape it off, or like a brush or something to get it off instead of my nail. It was such a bad choice. But I did get it off of there. And then I was able to take an alcohol wipe and just give it a nice little scrubbing and get the rest of it off. And it came off pretty easy. I supported it from the back so that I wouldn't make the cracking any worse, but it did come right off. Yeah, it came off pretty nice. Yeah. So I was like trying to clean it off. It's like, no, don't wipe that off. It doesn't wipe off. It's a crack in the plastic, but it's not a full crack in the plastic. It's just, yeah, see it? But it's fine. I'm sure I'll still get many more years of use off of this before that finally gets out. There are some scratches on the Nintendo sticker, but that's not too bad. I apologize for background noise. Everybody's home and loud. I don't know how much of it's picking up or not, but yeah. My mom finally stopped whistling, so that's a start. So funny. But yeah, so there it is, all tore apart. And yeah, I'm like freaking out about that for no reason. It's not, like I said, it's not all the way through, but it is there. You can see it. I'm like trying to think about, oh, should I put some like something on it or something? No, I'm gonna leave it exactly like it is. That's that headphone jack module like you're talking about wanting to replace. And then I'm checking to make sure that I didn't break any of the wires for the microphone or the speaker. But it is fine. And then my hands have now disappeared from the frame while I don't know what I was doing. Oh, I was showing my daughter because she was off to the side in a video call with me. So, yeah, there we go. Time to reassemble this wonderful little piece of tech, old tech. All right, here we go. So there's the front, there's the back of the front. Just double checking and making sure I got the majority of the muck. There was a couple little more spots there that just not quite as clean as I wanted them, but weren't terrible. So just kind of giving it a little bit more sprucing up. And the buttons go back in. They all have only one way they can go back in. No surprises. So that one goes with that little notch to the side like that. And then the A and B buttons both have little legs on them that make them fit only one way so that the letters are in the right orientation and in the right slot. And then these are the little rubber pieces that go on the back that actually make contact with the board when you push the button. And they also have one direction that they go in. And that's it. And then these little pins that hold them in place. And there's the select and start buttons. And those are just little rubber buttons. And then this is a little IR piece that goes at the top. Whoops. Or not. Or thrown all over the place. Because I got it in the wrong way. It only fits one way also. And you can tell when you try to put it the wrong way because it won't go. This is the on-off button. And there's a little nubby that it goes over. And it'll already be in the position that you had it in. There you go. See, on, off. And then push it back down so that it's in the right position when I put the rest of the thing together. You can also set it on the other side. That one's not too bad, but I just put it there and did the thing. And then once you have all of those in place, you can set this on top, and the speaker goes underneath the board. Make sure and reattach your ribbon cable, and make sure that it's pushed all the way in and fully engaged when you lock the little pieces in place. Otherwise, your screen will not work. So I kind of set that in there and then hold that down. And while I'm holding that down with one hand, I lock the little corner pieces in on each side to hold it there nice and securely. And then I just needed to remember how to do a simple thing like lift the board up so that I could set the speaker in place. Brain was not engaging here. But eventually I figured it out. And it sits right down in that little circle piece that is the little grate in the front where the sound comes out. So that's all locked in, double checking to make sure I got them down. Buttons are there, all accounted for. Everything's good. And then it's time to put the screws in. And once again, there's 1, 2, 3. There's one here, one kind of in the middle, and then one all the way over on the left-hand side. Sometimes I fat finger things. I find it easiest to just let the magnetic screwdriver work for me when I can. Yeah, once those 3 are in, then I'm going to take the back and I'm going to put that metal plate back in and make sure it's in the proper orientation. It only fits one way. That's what I really like about this kind of stuff is, and especially these, like they fit one, but you can't, I mean, you could force it to go the wrong way, but for the most part, you can't assemble it wrong. It's pretty self-explanatory. This piece will go in another way, but it doesn't properly fit the other way, and obviously the game won't fit if you put it the wrong way. And then I went ahead and set all the screws in because the holes are deep enough to where you can set the screws in without them all falling out while you're screwing in the other ones. So the other 4 of the Phillips screws for that little plate. There it is. Don't over tighten your screws. You'll regret it, especially in old plastic like this. You'll really regret it. I'm usually pretty heavy-handed, but when it comes to this kind of stuff, I am definitely a lot easier on things. And then here comes that triple. I don't forget what it's called. There's a name for it. It has a name. They all have a name, but I don't know what the name is for that. And then once again, this, you just line up all your little buttons and stuff and your goodies. Make sure that it all goes where it's supposed to, and that spring goes where it's supposed to in the battery compartment. And then it's all these little screws, and there's 6 of these, 2 at the top, 2 at the sides, and 2 inside the battery compartment. And then it's a fully reassembled. Ta-da! We're getting there. We're almost to the ta-da. Almost. I should have used a screwdriver to place those two, because they're like way down in there. And I was like wrestling with that. Get that one first because it wasn't quite sitting in there. There we go. Yeah, I think that screwdriver set's one of my the best investments I've made. And oh, it wasn't even that much. Probably paid like $30 for it, maybe 40. But nothing too crazy. It was a reasonable amount. And I've been through a lot of those kits, because you get some of them and they just have really cheap bits. And so a couple of uses, a couple of tight screws, and then it's just like destroyed. That has not been the case with these. I've been using them for a while now, and I think I got them in probably about a year ago, I guess, maybe, not longer. And you can't even tell that I've used a kit, and I probably use these every day for something. I'm constantly loosening, tightening, fixing something. So it definitely is in heavy rotation, and it's a nice kit. It's easy to keep everything together and keep track of all the bits and stuff. So yeah. And then here is our game. Like I said, I have a video somewhere where I'm doing the thing, cleaning that up. The game still fits nice and snug. There's a battery pack, and then I had to go get batteries. I got batteries. I took the game back out. The battery's in. I still need to fix that piece. I've been doing a little bit more, but it's still a little bit off. It's funny because the original battery cover on this also fit kind of loose and didn't sit right. And this one does too. Just like the original. It's amazing. So yeah, I also found the batteries too, because some of the cheaper brands of batteries are skinnier and they fit in there a little better and the door closes better. But with name brand batteries, they're a little chunkier apparently. So yes, it's just a little bit not bad. And there it is. I'll turn it on without a game in it. There it is, Game Boy. And I said turn the volume down because for some reason in my brain I'm like up and down, and they're opposite on this. And so I was like, there's no sound. Well, there isn't any sound. And you turn the volume all the way down. So of course there's not. So then I kind of partially panicked because it messed with the speaker so much. But then I turned it back on. I'm like, is there volume? And then eventually it dawns on me. Select mountain player. Start. Do we have volume? We do.